Movie review number 1523 is The Fiend with Feathers. The Fiend with Feathers is a 2025 movie directed by Dylan Sullivan. So this movie has Briarcliff Entertainment, Film 4 Productions, Align Productions, and BFI British Film Forever. I saw this movie on November 30th, 2025 at Regal Cinema 16 in Deerfield Town Center in Mason, Ohio. So this is a movie about grief. And it explores how grief can be handled in different ways. Or can be in different shapes and forms. Even in the form of a bird. A crow, in fact. So this movie is about a father and his two sons, who are struggling to cope with the sudden loss of their wife and mother. As they try to move on with their lives, the family also has to face grief, which in this case is depicted as a large crow. And the crow even talks. And at first you think that this crow can be like a menacing creature. But throughout the movie you realize that this crow might represent grief and trying to move on with this loss that this family is going through. The husband, or the father, is really having a hard time. He's trying to raise his two boys, trying to get things back to normal, but it's just too hard. And there was even a time where he asked one of his relatives to take his two boys away for a little bit, so that the father can try to pull himself together, try and get things back in the swing of things. But things don't seem to be going well. And that's where this crow appears. And this father believes at first that this crow might be menacing or frightening. But throughout the movie, he realizes that maybe the crow is not really the menacing threat. In fact, this crow might be the key for this father and their two sons to actually finally properly grieve, and then eventually move on. Because what happened was really sudden. And the movie does explore what happens with the mother/wife. And the movie also explores the father acting in different ways as a result of this loss. Sometimes he is just sad, lonely. Sometimes he can be erratic, angry. You know how there's 7 stages of grief that a person goes through? Well, I would say that the father does go through pretty much the majority of the stages of grief. He's trying to pull himself together, especially with his two sons. And there's points in the movie where he just can't really take it anymore. So will the crow help this family, or will it make things even worse? But yeah, this was a really good movie. And I like how the movie is called The Fiend with Feathers, because the crow does have feathers, and it represents the Fiend. So, this movie has Benedict Cumberbatch as Dad. He is just known as Dad. Richard Bosso portrays boy number 1, and Henry Bosso portrays boy number 2. And then they are just known as the two boys. Eric Lampert portrays the Crow. David Thewlis portrays the voice of the Crow. Fenette Robertson portrays Amanda. Sam Spruill portrays Paul. Rio Bill portrays Dr. Bowden, Tim Presto portrays Andy, and Claire Cartwright portrays Mum. It's interesting that pretty much half of the characters in the movie are just referred to as ordinary characters like Dad, or Mum, or Boy, or Crow. And then some of the other members have actual real names. I'm sure that the dad and the two sons actually have names, but they don't really you don't really know what the names are, or at least in the credits anyway. But anyway, I like how the crow does represent grief in the movie. And also, I also like how the dad is not really welcoming to the crow at first, but maybe having this crow around maybe something that the dad really needs to help actually cope with this loss. And he wants to cope properly, but he doesn't know what to do. Especially with he having two boys, at times it could be a little harder because he's not sure what to do with his two boys. But he wants to be there for them. He's just trying to find the right path, and maybe this crow might be able for the dad to properly grieve. But I bet you guys see the movie for yourselves to find out if that is the case or not. But yeah, this was really good. I definitely recommend it. So that's my movie review of The Fiend with Feathers. Please tune in for this movie review. Alright, goodbye.